I try my best to not push the gambling per se, like, because I've seen the worst of the worst. Like, this goes back to even when I was a kid and been around people that were gambling that shouldn't have been gambling, didn't have money to gamble, and were gambling on credit. I mean, that always leads to not bad things, but it can. And now you're seeing like gambling commissions like Massachusetts is holding people accountable that provide the content, and they're holding books accountable to provide these problem gambling messages in every piece of content that they do. All of that being said, it's so important to find, I think, one, good content, period, is hard to find. It really is. I mean, everybody can do it. You get a phone, you get an app, you can make a video, you can talk about your opinion and say you're a gambler or you're this or you're that. You can be represent yourself as anything you want. And there are naive people that believe it, and then they start gambling and they start either losing and chasing, winning and pressing. Neither one is good. Okay, you can get into trouble both ways. Like, just because you win doesn't make it better. And, losing and chasing can lead to really bad things. So I always try to think about that person all the time. Like when I'm doing stuff, I'm very aware of it. And, like, I mean, through people that we know, you reached out to me. I try to, take the time to hear people's stories. The stories are more important to me than the betting. And the shows that I do, like the Bostonian versus the book, we're in the process now of trying to get sponsors and talk to people and stuff. And I try to explain to them, like, look, man, my partner, Matt Peralt, said it best to somebody in one of our meetings. This is a life show disguised as a gambling show because the gambling is the accessory, is the icing on the cake. Life is the cake. That's what I prefer to talk about. And I think a lot of people are, I mean, young guys like you coming up talking about this stuff. It's important. But I think you got to really take the time to learn it and live it a little bit before you can be, a senior betting analyst anywhere. And I think a lot of people might be presenting that as such, and I don't think that's a good look either.